Nice! Alright, I'm here at Hungry Valley, also known as Gorman. It is November 1, 2024, which is the day of the park reopening after having been closed for many months due to the fires. It is also cold, so we'll see how long I'm gonna stick to it. I might not be here for very long, but I'm here for a very particular reason, which is that when I first started dirt bike riding, I took a few lessons at various places, like I think Lake Elsinore. And after a few lessons, I got my own dirt bike, and this is the place that I went to. This is my first. I went to the practice MX track, and then at a later time I went to a particular trail, and I want to revisit both of those because it's been now about a year since that. And you know, I have a bunch of more experience riding, and I'm on a different bike. I'm on a bigger bike now. I'm on the 890 as opposed to the KLX 300R, which was the dirt bike that I was on. So it's just really interesting to me to go back to the same places that I rode a year ago and see how I feel about them now relative to then. So that's kind of my primary goal here, and then we'll see how long I stay. The park is recently opened as of today, as I said, but just be aware if you happen to listen to this, it's not completely open on weekdays. There's a limit to how many people can come in, although I suspect that limit may not be reached, I don't know. On weekends, there is a certain, you have to sort of pay, I think it's $5 or something ahead of time, and it's first come, first served. And so there are some restrictions, and the part of the park is also closed, geographically speaking, because of the fire. So if you are planning on going, just be aware that there are some restrictions and limitations. So look that up before you show up and have expectations that may not be met. So some of these terrain features, like these uphills to the right here, that's not something that I'm gonna ride on this bike right now with my skill set, and especially not solo and so on. They're still very steep, but there are much more like, I could see myself maybe attempting that at some point, like whereas when I was here last time, that felt like some kind of complete and utter impossibility. As you can tell, it's pretty empty today, and that is, as far as I know, that's pretty normal for weekdays. And weekends are the ones where it's very full of people. Although again, because there are limitations, I don't know how full it's going to be in the near future here. They're allowing something like 100 or 125, whatever it is. There's a certain amount that get to go in every day, basically. So the first destination is the practice MX track, just because that is the literal first thing I ever rode on my own bike when I was still a newbie. And I'm gonna be heading over here after the MX track for the trail. This sand is much less hard packed than I remember. I guess it's newly graded and everything. All right, here we are. This gate is actually quite tight. I remember being worried about hitting it on my dirt bike, but yeah, it's actually tight. Guess just barely getting through with this. All right, let's see what this feels like. This corner is a lot more sandy than I remember it. For sure. Still skittish in sand, even though I feel like I've leveled up a little bit recently. I'm still like very much slow in terms of taking sandy corners. I remember there being some rut somewhere, which presumably is not going to be there anymore, but that I had trouble with before when I was here on the dirt bike. Whew, yeah. For sure a lot more sandy. And I realize I'm on a bigger bike, so sand is a little bit more difficult than on a dirt bike, but it is definitely more sandy. Again, presumably because it's freshly graded and everything, and people haven't ridden it. This, I think, is the corner that used to be sandy, where I dropped a couple of times. And and this, of course, it's still sandy, but yeah. Actually, no, I'm wrong. This is the sandy corner. The scary corner. It's probably going to get scary now too, even though... whew. Okay, got through it. Without incident. Definitely with a lot of hesitation, but without incident. Yeah, okay. Another one. I'm gonna... Whew. Nice. I guess I have a new place to practice sand. At least for a while. Until it gets more hard packed. When people ride, presumably. We shall see. I was gonna say, if this had been this sandy back when I came here as a complete newbie, I wouldn't have enjoyed it as much. There would have been a lot of crashes. I mean, as you can tell, I'm certainly skittish even now. Turning in sand, like I said. There we go. Okay, let me just check that my camera is not occluded. I have a cable. All right, that was super interesting. I expected to feel more confident than I did, but I think it is mostly because of the fact that it's so much more sandy now. I want to go back and sort of compare with, I think it's the first couple of videos on the channel of me, one of which has a shitty camera angle because I hadn't sorted anything out yet, and I kind of want to go back and compare as opposed to going purely from memory. Okay. Okay. Okay, let's see if I can get through this without stopping. Nice! I was nervous for sure, but that worked out. Okay, this one, same as last time. I mean, obviously I'm going too slow, right, for the sand, but I just don't have the skill to fly through these things safely. But I'm happy with it anyway. I'm happy with even if it's a little bit sketchy and that kind of stuff happens, like that last turn. Felt really good to do that well, with it. Lots of potential to dig in, rear floating around. I had to apply the throttle properly, lean backwards, get the technique right, otherwise that wouldn't have worked whatsoever. My visor is actually starting to fog up, which is like never happened before. I've got pin lock and so on. Glasses, yes. Visor, no. I mean, it is cold. Okay, there we go. Awesome. Okay. Hopefully I'll fit through the exit. It does actually seem a little wider.